Dylan?
A lot of people are asking about camera angle. It looked like somebody was thinking that the camera was fixed on the goal or something, but it's just fixed behind the player, correct?
Yeah, it is fixed sort of over the shoulder, third-person camera.
But you can turn 360 still, right?
Yeah. You're fully, essentially it has your FPS controls, but it is over the shoulder, which gives you a better view of what's around you. It also makes it so that when you're holding the ball, it isn't directly in front of your face, which happens if you have a first-person view in this game. So we decided to cut the first-person view because it wasn't particularly useful. And we actually did quite a bit to the third-person camera to make sure that the player was never in the center of the camera or blocking, obscuring the view, as happens in a lot of third-person cameras in other games.
Firefly Soup says that Tom Bampton also...
Yes, I'm sorry, I should mention Tom Bampton as well, was part of the original Boomball theme and concepts group.
You want to go over maybe you've mentioned most of them, but everything you can do in the game in terms of what weapons you have, what extra things you could do, like sprinting, things like that.
Yeah, I'll do that in a second. I'm also mentioning that Tom Bampton has worked on the current revision of Boomball as well in the last 3 months. He's an external employee for Garage Games, and he's been doing a lot of help with sort of the event tracking and that sort of thing. So when you score a goal, it tells you who scored, who assisted them, it tells you about mid-air shots, all that kind of stuff. And a lot of that was Tom stuff, as well as a lot of the other features of the game that are in there. But that's the one that you're going to see most prominently while you're playing. So as far as what you can do in the game, you can fire rockets. You have an unlimited supply of rockets, but they take a second to reload. Rockets can propel the ball, or they can hit other players, which causes them to become momentarily stunned as they lose all their energy. You have sort of an energy meter, which can be used to sprint, momentary speed boost. So sort of endurance stamina thing. You have to balance how much you're sprinting, because that energy is also used for your magnet beam to attract the ball. And so you can sprint down the field and get to the ball and then not be able to pick it up, or, it's figuring out the happy balance there. The players can jump and can do a second jump in midair. There's no jetting or anything like that sort, but they can double jump, which gives you quite a bit of air control. When holding the ball, the players can then fire the rocket, which launches the ball at high speed, because you're, of course, shooting it point blank with the rocket. And that's the primary mechanism for passing or shooting goals. Let's see. And then, of course, as we mentioned, things on the map, like speed ramps and eventually jump pads and that sort of thing.
So right now, on the map that's available, the goal's oriented in that vertical kind of skee ball kind of way.
Right.
Are there going to be variations on that?
There are. Each map will have variations on the goals and on the layout and on the other map elements to make a fairly unique experience of each game once we get those out there. And that's part of the reason why we're doing a lot of sort of experimentation with the other maps now, is trying to find other really good layouts. The map that we have that you see or saw in the video before we were talking is a pretty standard, simple layout, but it's just solid in its simplicity. It really gets the job done, and I think even once we have a lot of variations, that's probably going to be one of the more popular maps, just because it feels like a sports arena. It doesn't have anything unnecessary. It's not overly complicated. It's not distracting you from the game by adding in too much obstacle.
As the game launches, what kind of user input would you like to see regarding the future of Rokkitball? We have the forums up and everything.
Yeah, we'd love to see suggestions and people's strategies. I think we're going to see a lot of sort of evolving team strategy, but this game is going to be in live development, like as Legions is, and so we'll be listening to community feedback on what features they would like to see in future versions of the game. So please frequent the forums, and we will be reading the posts and enhancing the game based on that.
Cool. Here's actually one of the questions. Are there different targets you can hit for more points?
Yes. One of the things you'll notice in the video is that there were 3 goals, and those were each worth different points. The bottom goal being the easiest to score is worth 1. The middle goal, kind of your standard goal, is worth 2, and then if you manage to get into the very small ceiling goal, it's worth 5. That'll be different based on the different maps that we create. They'll have different point values. Yeah, kind of like skee-ball. So, it sort of makes a bit of a risk analysis as the player is up there, like, well, I can dump it in the 1-pointer easily, or I can go for the 2-pointer and maybe miss, or I can, take that hope for that lucky shot on the 5-pointer, but most likely it's going to drop back down and the defender's going to pull it out of there.
I saw a question previously. They were talking about some early shots that they saw of the game. They noticed advertisements for think tanks and legions on the walls. Is the final game going to have ad placements like that?
It is. Right now, the final game does have a couple of IA game ad placements in it, as you noticed, as well as some ads for some fake, non-existent products. One of the ways that we're looking to fund this project is, of course, through real-world advertising, just like real-world sports do, which we'll see how that works out. Yeah. So far, it's all just our own products, though. But you know, as far as a sports game goes, it's actually fairly appropriate because the real sports venue you look at has ads and logos plastered everywhere. So even though a lot of the logos we currently have in there are for fake products, we feel it kind of adds to the sports arena feel of the game.
Rocket jumps.
Yes.
Okay.
I think when you do a futuristic sports game like this, you inevitably draw a lot of lines between things like rollerball from the was that the 70s and other things kind of like Smash TV. Did you draw any inspiration from classic future sports movies or classic arcade games?
We did. I mean, certainly we very shortly after we started the project had everyone watched Rollerball and I think it rounds around the office, and we have seen a lot of other FPS sports games that have had influences on this, or even non-FPS sports games, the old top-down future sports games. But I guess I don't really know how much that's influenced our gameplay model. I mean, that sort of has evolved from the original Boomball model more than from influence from any of those. But I think some of the visual styles that you see are definitely influenced by those sorts of films and of course, preceding titles.
Yeah, that's the vibe I got.
Dylan?
People were asking when it's going to be released.
In theory, it was to be released today, but my understanding is that we're running into a few bugs with integration still. We're wanting to make sure that that's solid so people can actually get in and join the game on the right team and all that sort of thing when they're playing. So,
you just said.
So. I mean, do we have a day tomorrow?
The moons have kind of aligned in a bad way. So later this afternoon, we'll be able to tell you when. But for now, it's either going to be today or not today. So it's enough things have lined up poorly that it could be a long time. But it's
more than a long time.
It could. I don't think I can comment on how long it could be, but it could be a while.
But it's not likely to be a while.
No, it's not going to be like ages. But I mean, the thing that's important to remember is we're doing it to make sure that it's really exceptional for everybody. So even if you can't play right away, don't get upset because it's for your own good.
Well,
take your medicine.
The developers are actually the most upset about this because we're really looking forward to those first 5 hours when we're the best Boomball players or Rokkitball players in the world. Because after that, I know you guys are just going to skill up and we're going to stand no chance.
James and I have been working on that.
Yeah.
You got to watch out.
And in case it's not clear, Dave, Gnome Tech, uploaded a bunch of gameplay videos to this channel, so you can get a feel for what it looks like and how it plays, even if you can't play it for a day or two or whatever.